the difference between glycemic load and glycemic index?
What is your blood sugar?
Hmm?
Glycemic index?
Well, I mean, it affects your blood sugar. But how does it affect your blood sugar? And so if I'm looking at my glycemic index, which I'm pretty sure you've seen on commercials, glycemic index is the food's potential to raise your blood glucose level, right? So if you have foods that are high in glycemic index, they're going to cause that sudden surge. Like if I ate a Snickers bar, like on the commercial, it's going to raise my glycemic index temporarily. So it's going to trigger a large increase in insulin, and that's going to be followed by what? What happens if I just eat that Snickers bar and I got my energy, and then what's going to happen?
Crash.
You're going to crash. Okay, so it causes a dramatic fall in blood glucose. And so foods that have a low glycemic index are going to cause a low to moderate fluctuation in. So by eating food that has a low glycemic index, I'm going to be able to carry off that energy for a longer period of time and not going to have this huge spike. So what is the glycemic load? Glycemic load is used to determine the effect of that food on the person's glucose response. And so when we're looking at grams of carbohydrate in the food, we're going to multiply that by the glycemic index, its ability to raise it. And so your glycemic index and glycemic load, you use those together to determine the effect of that food on your glucose response. Okay, know how much energy is provided by carbohydrates in kcal. It's going to ask you in kcal. 4 kcal per gram. Why are ketones produced? Why are ketones produced? What is broken down to form ketones?
Protein.
Fat. Fat breakdown during fasting is going to form ketones. If you have an excess of ketones in your blood, it's going to cause blood acidity. And that is going to be called what? Ketoacidosis. Okay? Which probably is going to be the next question, right? Is it? Yes, that was the next question. You know why ketoacidosis occurs? Because when you have an accumulation of ketones, then it's going to cause the acidic nature in your blood to raise, and you're going to have ketoacidosis. Know about diverticulosis. What is diverticulosis?
Where the hostas or in the houses in the colon get inflamed and then stuff gets trapped in there.
Okay, the hostas or in your large intestine become inflamed and bulge out, usually caused by amount of pressure in your colon because you're trying to strain, put things out, and you have this pressure that's built up. Know the RDA for carbohydrates. What's the recommended daily allowance for carbohydrates?
I think it's like
130 grams per day. So you should only be taking in 130 grams per day. Let's see. Know the difference between nutrient and non-nutrient sweeteners. What's the difference between nutrient and non-nutrient sweeteners? That should be kind of easy. nutrient sweeteners are going to be able to provide energy. They're going to provide that 4 kcal per gram. Then you have the slow absorbing sugar alcohol, because that's the question that we ask later on. What is a sugar alcohol? Sugar alcohol is a slow absorbing sugar that is going to only provide 2 to 3 kcal per gram. Now your non-nutritive are not going to produce any energy at all. Okay? Who do we normally give non-nutritive sweeteners to? Diabetics and people who need to keep their blood sugar low. Okay? Know the facts about type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Okay? With type 1, type 2 diabetes, type 1 is what you're born with. Okay? And type 1, what's the characteristic of its diabetes?
It can't be controlled
What's
by,
that?
it cannot be controlled by diet.
No, it cannot be controlled by diet because the pancreas is either not producing or not producing enough insulin. And so you have to take in insulin after every meal in order to bring your glucose, your blood glucose down. Now, with type 2 diabetes, it's characterized by the fact that you have insulin intolerance. And you might produce enough insulin or not produce enough insulin, but the thing is, the insulin that you're producing is not efficient. So you have intolerance of that insulin. And it is completely avoidable because it is related to diet, exercise, and lifestyle, whereas type 1 diabetes is associated with having an autoimmune disease. Okay? Know the difference between hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia. That's another easy one, right? Hyper is what? High blood sugar. Hypo is low blood sugar. And then when it comes to hypoglycemia, what are the 2 things that might cause you to have hypoglycemia? Okay, you might have a rush or too much insulin being produced. You gotta go to? Okay. You have 2 types. You got reactive and you got fasting. Reactive is where your pancreas is going to secrete too much insulin after a high carbohydrate diet. Fasting hypoglycemia is where the pancreas produces too much insulin even though you have not eaten anything at all. Okay? So know the difference between reactive and fasting hypoglycemia. All right? Know which carbohydrates is used primarily by the brain and the red blood cells. Glucose is the primary one to be used. Know the storage form of glucose in humans. I covered that earlier. It's glycogen. Okay? What is the AMDR of carbohydrates? 45 to 60% of your diet needs to come from carbohydrates. Know the equivalent of 1 drink of alcohol. That brings us to 4.5 now. What is the, okay, what's the equivalent of 1 drink of alcohol for beer? Huh? 1? No. 12 ounces. What about for a shot of, bless you, of hard alcohol? 1.5 ounces, right? What about for wine? 4 ounces? And what about, no, I'm not even gonna go about wine coolers, I'm not even gonna ask that question.
So,
I don't know, is it 10?
Yeah, it was 2 less than the other one.
Okay. Know the definition of moderate alcohol consumption for men and women. Definition of moderate alcohol consumption for men and women. How many drinks a day should men drink?
2.
2. How many drinks a day should women have?
1.
1. I know it's funny. And we know why, right?
Liver can't handle alcohol.
Not because they cannot handle it, it's because physiologically they do not absorb and digest the alcohol in their stomach as much as we do. That means that the majority of that alcohol content just goes right on through, okay? Okay. Alcohol provides how much energy in kcals?
None.
Huh? What do you mean none?
7.
7. That's the odd one. Because fats produce 9 kcals, carbohydrates and proteins both provide 4, and alcohol actually gives you some energy at 7 kcals per day. Alcohol is absorbed directly from the small intestine and the what? Absorbed, not processed or metabolized. The stomach. Okay, now, here's your question. Alcohol is primarily metabolized by what? The liver. Okay, the first enzyme in alcohol metabolism is what? Remember we talked about two ones, the ADH and the ALDH? What's the first enzyme involved in it? ADH, alcohol dehydrogenase. So if I was to say alcohol consumption, even at a moderate level, increases the risk of gastrointestinal bleeding if a drinker is what? I'm not going to ask that question. Okay, which of the following is a condition in which the liver becomes more efficient in breaking down of alcohol? You have a choice. It's either functional or metabolic. Metabolic, because the liver is involved in breaking it down. Okay? Functional tolerance means your ability to keep drinking even though you shouldn't. Now, chronic drinkers may show few signs and impairment of intoxication even at high blood alcohol levels. This condition is known as functional tolerance. Okay? Current alcohol consumption recommendation for pregnant women is what?
0.
0, none, complete abstinence. Which of the following is caused by alcohol exposure by a fetus during pregnancy? Fetal alcohol syndrome. Which of the following is a chemical found in red wine and grapes that may have health benefits? Resveratrol. Yes, resveratrol. The R one. Okay. Okay, excessive alcohol consumption can cause dizziness, lightheadedness due to fluid and electrolyte imbalance, because alcohol what? Is a diuretic. I don't think I'll be.
A diuretic?
It's a diuretic.
Is that why you always have to pee?
Huh?
Isn't it always diuretic?
Well, it also, yeah, it causes you to be dehydrated. Yeah, when you pee a lot, you're getting rid of fluids.
That's,
And I think that's all there is as far as questions on
I have a
alcohol.
question.
What's your question?
so like, you know how people with like anemia or whatever, they take diuretics or whatever?
Uh-huh.
Do you think that would help if they drink alcohol?
No. Because of the carbohydrate consumption. If you're drinking, in order to drink enough alcohol to be effective, you have to drink a whole lot of it rather than take that little pill. Okay? So that means I've been drinking a whole lot of alcohol, which number one, it makes me an alcoholic. Number two, I would be consuming too much sugar, causing
Because he
myself to
talks
have
too
other
fast.
problems.
At least the video, I can pause.
Oh, you're drinking.
The essay questions will be posted up on there.